Okay, all right.
All right.
Good afternoon, ladies. How are you doing? It's my pleasure to introduce a facilitator for today, but I'm not even going to, you have his profile, so I'm not even going to go through it again. I'm just going to introduce him in a way I'd like to, right? So, Wale is one of the biggest okay, apologies. So Wale is one of our biggest supporters, in PWN. He's the only masterclass facilitator. No, he's the only male masterclass facilitator who's also a coach. We have only 2 people who hold that role, who are both masterclass facilitators and coaches. And guess what, ladies? For those who have been privileged to be coached by him, one thing I'll tell you that one of our participants that have gone on to do great stuff have been coached by Wale. You remember Rosemond, right? Rosemond was coached by Wale, right? So he's not only one of the biggest supporters we've had with PWN, he's also one of the most impactful in terms of the impact he's had on the ladies he has coached. And one more thing, ladies, the last session he took, the 90 minutes was not enough, right? That's why I'm not going to go through his profile again. The 90 minutes was not enough. Wale, you remember? We had to go continue on WhatsApp for like another 1 hour. So I'm not going to waste time, and so that we can maximize our 90 minutes. It's my pleasure to welcome a longtime friend of mine, Adewale Salami, who's going to take us on the value of data for small businesses. Wale, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Shay. Thank you for having me again. I know the last time I was there is about 2 years ago. Yeah, that was 2 years ago during COVID. That was when I first started the first session with the group. Then it's been quite a time, also coaching some of the ladies in last year. And I've started another coaching session again this year. So it's been quite a learning session for me as well, having to hear the stories, the various challenges of the entrepreneurs, trying to survive within, the context of Africa, So ladies, without wasting much time, let's just delve into the topic of the day. The value of data in small businesses. I know quite all right. We are all conversant with the keywords, in the topic, value, data, small businesses, so we know what value means, we know what data is. So whatever it is, let's sew everything together as we move along. Okay, for this session, the learning point, so let me just put that straight. So we are going to understand the basics of data. We hear the word data, but there are some sciences to it. So that basics of those science, I'm going to give some idea about it, so you know how to apply some of those basics in what you do. We identify the critical business data and what to measure. As a business, you generate data every day. In fact, this session we are generating data, as we are in, yeah. So then the last learning point to be to understand how to use the business data in driving growth. Growth, especially in business, is always about volume and value. So I want to sell more. I want to make more money. That's the growth for you. So let's go in. So what do you do in a business? I asked this question on many occasions, just to see if truly we are all doing the same thing in business, and I know if I had the moderator to leave the voice prompts open for everybody now, I'm sure I'm going to hear so many things. What do you do in a business? So I'm going to hear so many versions, but let me just go straight to my point. Every business, that I know definitely has a product or service, to sell, and who are they selling to? they're going to be selling to a certain customer somewhere, you know. And what is the other important thing about the business? Why doing what they're doing? They're trying to build an equity for their brand, you know. This is what all of us are doing, whether you are rendering services or you're selling tangible products, you know. So you surely have a value proposition of which you place the value, and you're expecting people to pick certain volume or certain quantity, you know, to satisfy themselves, you know. For every product and service, you know, there is definitely a utility at the end of, you know, the consumption. So, and while you're doing that, people are getting to know your brand if they're buying for the very first time, or they are getting to like your brand if they're testing you for the very first time. You are trying to build, you know, top of the mind awareness about your brand, you know, if the utility is confirmed over and over again, you know, by the consumer. And these consumers or the customers are either, you know, your old customers who have been buying for you, you know, it's, or in service business, you say return customers, you know, so, or someone who is testing an alternative product and someone, you know, told that person to say, hey, can you test product B, you know, and that person is coming to buy your brand and test it for the very first time. Or those people who have known you over time, your loyal customers, you know, and these customers exist in various markets, you know, that's what this picture depicts. So while you are doing all this, you know, there's, you know, the intersection between you, the customer, you, the market, you, your supplier, and you're building equity. All along as you're doing this, you are leaving what we call, you know, data points, information along in your interaction with the customer, in your interaction with the market, in your interaction with your suppliers, in your design when you're trying to, you know, craft a brand name for yourself, or you're trying to craft a concept for a new product or a new service. You're churning out or generating quite a lot of data, which are also very important for your life cycle. You know, so we'll see how those things are. Businesses need to know their data in order to make informed decisions. Yeah. So if I ask everybody now, what are the major challenges you have in your business? A lot of people will come up with, oh, finance. I don't have capital. No, I'm unable to have customers. You know, before you are able to take that decision that the capital is a problem or is not enough or is not adequate, you actually know there is a sizable portion of that capital you're supposed to get. And because you have established that for you to thrive in that business, to succeed, that sizable amount of capital or credit you need must be enough for you to deliver on the tangibility within the business, you know. So that's a number you are trying to throw out there. And if I ask you, how much do you need? Surely people will give me different numbers. That means yes, you're making decision at that point in time and you're on your credit need or your finance needs. So that's a number. And to you, that's a fact. It's an evidence, and that's what you need to deliver on your promises to the customers. That is it. This is how the data will be scattered all across. If I ask you, you know, we all sell, you know, let me use a crude example here. We sell in a crude way. Some of us have logbook where we record our sales, or the name of the customer, the phone number, the quantity, or the type of item, the quantity of the item, at what price point, how did the customer pay you? Is it by transfer or by direct debit, or the customer, you know, tap their cards or use POS, whatever, you know? So you have all these entries here and there. Not only that, you have data or information about the supply end of your business. Oh, this is the best source for this color of material. This is the best source for this size of grains. This is the best source for this quality of grain. You know, all that information are there without any form, without any shape. They come all to us. In fact, we have data about the different markets. You know, we have data about the type of customers, women, men, boys, girls, aged, young, babies. That's the data there for you. The data is useless if you are not doing what? You are not processing them. And this is where the processing comes. You overlay your knowledge and experience about the sector where you are, about this sector where you're playing. Today, most women will either be in fashion, most women will either be in beauty and hair care segment, either doing trading, you know, some are in the corporate world, but let's focus more on the entrepreneur. We are creating value, you know. So a lot of you are in these sectors because you have a little knowledge about the sector. You have certain experience about the sector. Either you've undergone apprenticeship with your parents or an apprenticeship on your own, or you have read on Google or YouTube videos, you know, to build that knowledge base. So how do you overlay that knowledge on the information you're picking from the customer, picking from the market? And what do you want to do? You want to take decisions. That's the beauty of data. It's gone are the days where you just wake up and you are saying you want to do something without facts to prove that what you want to do is going to be successful or not. Gone are those days. It's a very dynamic world. You know, the rate of change in the world today is huge. If I go around this room and I ask everybody between 2019 and today, they should tell me their experiences. You are going to hear from almost 80% of the room that in year 2020, I lost my business. Some of you will say, I started a business in year 2020. Some of you will say, there were so many challenges in year 2020 because we never had the data of the kind of occurrence that happened during COVID. It wasn't easy for most businesses to be able to process during that time. And that's why most people have described that time as a VUCA time, you know, very volatile, uncertain, you know, period of most businesses. The certainty was so much that even when you have the right data and you're overlaying knowledge and experience, you're not even sure. So now all of us have seen how 2020 has played. God forbid. If it comes again in 2024, I am sure larger percentages of the small businesses will survive the time. Because we already have a background of base information to rely on for processing, to take decisions when such events occurs again. That is why we're saying for small businesses, despite that we are not so sophisticated, despite that we don't have resources for technology, resources for collecting data, but we still need a little bit of those observation, information, data around us to survive. And do you know what? When you master how to use data very well, growth, right, will not be a challenge for you because you know the short and quick way, to trigger something for you to get the right growth or be on the right growth trajectory. So let's delve into the basics. I'll be practical as I speak along. This is data. We all know data. When I say data today, I'm sure a lot of you would think it's just about numbers. Unfortunately, just pictures are data. Because today, when you go on Instagram and you want to sell, you don't just, what you put there is a picture of the item. A lot of you don't even put the price. And some of you get angry when we don't say the price, You just display the picture. That's a datum. So the plural is data, Picture, data, just alphabet A is a data. Saying my name is a data. So all this information you collect, as I said earlier on, are always collected, in form of rows and columns in a table like I've depicted on the slide. So most of you in your book will have a name, Wale, or bought 10 boxers at $300. He has paid $100 to pay $200 when? Oh, month end. That's how we keep some of these crude records that we don't know are very critical or essential. So usually, it can be arranged like this. And some of your information too about supplier, this is how you keep it, or the input into your production, this is how you keep them. So on the row is where we have the observations. Oh, Wale has black hair. 2 eyes, not blue eye. Normal high color. He has beard. Observation. He's super rich. Assumption. Then maybe tomorrow you see my face on Forbes. Say, hey, I'm valued at $10 billion. Then you now put my wealth in front of my name. Valued, wealth value, $10 billion, right? Then you store it on that table. You start collecting for another person. Then you have this table information. So what next? When you have the information, and you can have all this information on various, variables. I can decide to measure the height of men, in a particular area. Okay, so because I want to sell maybe pajamas, then I try to observe. Okay, this is the market. We don't have short men here, so I don't think I need extra small and small. We have tall men here whose height are of certain category. That's you're observing on certain variable there, height. Oh, because you want to go into trading of a particular item, you need to understand that, trading is all about you buy from somewhere at certain prices, then you mark up the prices to sell in a different environment. You are buying in bulk at the other side, probably, and that gives you an advantage for that markup, which is going to be your profit or whatever later on, So then someone told you, oh, I think that your supplier is cheating you at $10 or 10 naira, it's not too good. And you know of another place where they sell at 7 naira or $7, then you're like, what? Okay, then someone else now said, no, if you go 10 miles down the road, you can get it 6 naira, then you're like, wow. So you're collecting price points of the same item again. Then in business, business data, yes, it comes alive the same way. I'm sure most of you only know about my sales and my profits. Then what else? Usually, a lot of you small businesses always look at your finances than any other thing. In fact, just look at one thing. Oh, my sales. When I ask you, can you talk about your business? I was expecting you guys to talk about numbers. Or I started in year 2020 at first, started from 0 customer. The first 6 months, I grew to 25 customers. In 1 year, I was able to acquire 700 customers. My revenue grew from $0 to $1,000 in the first year. Now I'm grossing about $25,000. My profits annually, move from $500 to about $22,000. That's the way I expect you to talk about your profit. That gives me comfort. But that's not what I hear when I ask people to tell me about their profit, their business rather. Because we don't know how to use the data. We don't even understand the matrix. Talk less about the measure. Measure is, how do you apportion numerical value to a variable in your business that you want to, to keep track? So metric will be like revenue is a metric. The measure will be the dollar or the naira that you are going to be counting in front. The metric will be like customer. The measure will be like the number of customer. So metric can be discrete sometimes, or it's continuous. Because I think I need to clarify this for the sake of, when we start, when you start using the data very well and you have some people to come and help you, they are going to confuse you. When you say something is discrete, it involves counting. You can count 1, 2, 3, it's 10 naira, 20 naira, 30 naira, that's a discrete. Then when it is continuous, it's measures on continuum, delivery time, delivery time early or not early, purchase price high or low, Basics now, I'm still going to the basics. Business data can be, earlier I made mention of, color, skin type, female or male, business information. So, but at the same time, I told you, your revenue, your number of customers. So business data can be qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative, just something that you cannot apportion counting or numbers to. They're just description about something. Quantitative is measurable, So when I look at a customer now, there's so many variables of a customer that can be qualitative or quantitative. So I'm customer Wale, my sex is male or female, right? Male or female is not quantitative, but it's qualitative. So somebody will say, oh, my race, say I'm Black, African, right? That's qualitative as well. Then someone will say, say amount purchase, then you say $10, that's number, that's quantitative. Quantity purchase 20, that's quantitative. Then we come to another type of data that you measure, financial data, which is mostly measure your sales, your revenue, your margin, your profit, return on investment. There's so many parameters accountants will tell you when it's financial data. Then in marketing, what are you looking at? So many things they will tell you. What's your retention capacity, return on investment? Somebody will say, what are conversion rates in social media? What's the return on campaign? Okay, you have done a campaign on Instagram. How many people came to buy through that campaign? How much have you spent? So you do that mathematics. That's marketing. It's either, and also in marketing, somebody say we need to measure our affinity. Measuring affinity doesn't come in number. Oh, is that they like us or they don't like us? You know, that's affinity. The same way some of us will say, oh, I just posted something now on Instagram. I have 1,000 likes. You know, you have 1,000 likes. You can't put a value on that. It's not money for the business. Some people will like it, but somebody like you will say, hey, what's the value? Can you quantify the likes for me? You know, put it in Naira and Kobo, then let's cash it. You know. Then we look at other data that for business. You look at your industry or your, you know, I was having a review with my cohorts of for power and for coaching, you know, and we were saying, okay, tell me about your market or the industry where you play. Many of us are not aware that we are actually a subset of that market, a subset of that market. And if you don't have information or data about that market, how do you think there is even an opportunity in that market to tap into? That's a critical business data you need to go look for. And what do you look for in that market when you're looking at market? The opportunity size. Who are the competition or who are the players in that market? How much of the opportunities are they taking? So let me give you an instance. I used to work in cement business in Nigeria. There are 3 major players in that. You know, that market is estimated maybe around 31 million tons. You see, I understand the size of opportunities. And I know the capabilities of the 3 players. And I know what the consumers can buy too. In fact, the capacities of the 3 players are almost times 4 of the market opportunities. That means in the next 10 years in that market, a new player will not need to come in because the guys there already have the capacity to take the opportunities as they are expanding. And I understand, you know, what drives that consumption in that market. So if I come to you today, I say, oh, what do you do? Oh, I make soap and cream, you know. So when I say, what do you understand about that market? What drives consumption? You must be able to, you know, speak specifically to the numbers. I'm not sure you know how much of cosmetic that all these top brands will bring, you know, to your market. So you need to find the data for you to understand whether you can even sell. In fact, part of the data about your market is what are the, you know, preferences the consumers are looking for. What are the attributes that trigger buying pattern or buying behavior from the consumers? You need to understand when they are buying, what is that thing that makes them to buy? You know, then the economic data, critical, you know, I'm a Nigerian. Sometimes we get lost in some of these words. Oh, GDP values. And everybody started abusing the government. They don't even understand the implication of the GDP, you know, in relation to their own life. Everybody just hear GDP is, you know, oh, the budget is 6 trillion. You know, you don't even understand the makeup of the budget. How does it impact you as a small business? Because now you are no more that individual who feed off a paid job, but you are creating value in the economy. And part of the value you create is what makes up the GDP of an economy. So can you start, you know, when you are talking to people about your business, quantify what percentage of that GDP you create? Part of my story was working so long in telco too in Nigeria, you know. We used to pride ourselves in those days that, oh, the telco sector contributes 10 to 12% to the GDP of the economy. That tells you, you know, the significance of that sector. Imagine you are talking to me, you are pitching your business to me, and you tell me today, you know, the sector where you play contributes X% to the economy of your country, and God help you, I know the GDP value of that country where you play. I just put, you know, on top of my head, oh, wow, this is a huge market potential. You know, this is a huge opportunity. So what comes to my mind is how do we tap into this opportunity together? So let's go down. Then business data are usually dependent or independent variable. This is what I try to put this mathematics. In fact, they taught us this mathematics, but we may not be able to relate it to our business, but I've just made it so simple. Y is equal to fx. Y is a function of x. When it is y, on that left-hand side, it is a dependent variable, and it depends on a function of some x's in front. So for a business, just what everybody know, revenue is what we like. My revenue is always equal to my price times the volume. Let's assume you sell a device, a Nokia phone, and it is $10. What revenue you get is $10 times number of quantity of that phone you sell. So that's your own business equation. You understand? So that's a simple, way data is for you. So when you know the drivers, you can actually control what your revenue is. So because price times volume, it's revenue. You can actually play on the other side. When I sell more, that means my revenue will grow. Or I increase my price and still sell the same quantity. Now you understand. So how do you take action on the price and the volume? Because that's the side you can only take action on. You don't have control about what revenue will be. You only have control on the action on price, action on volume. This is how to use business data. Like I said in my introduction, every business performance is usually, you talk about the volume or the value. You can see in the equation I gave earlier on, it's volume and value. Price is a value is a value attribute. Volume is about volume. That's what we want to do in business. So when do you trigger volume? When do you trigger value? There are times like that in business. And when you're going to trigger either of the two, there usually or almost every other time you have dependencies, and those are the things that you need to control for you to get greater value or greater volume. We just did a simple example here, revenue. Revenue is a value attribute. So for me to increase revenue, either I keep my price constant and keep increasing my volume. That's it. So the action is sell more. That's what increases your volume, right? But there are times that you need to say, hey, I need to sell more. So what are the dependencies of selling more? You need to understand that too. Look at these two scenarios. I need to improve performance. Two things, when you tell me as a commercial manager that we need to improve performance, my manager cannot tell me we need to improve performance. I'm going to ask him, yes, boss, are we increasing sales or we're driving profitability? Increase sales is a volume game. Improve profitability, it goes into the P&L. That's value. We want more money. That's what you're telling me, or we want to sell more. Then if you pick this other side, want to sell more, you make my job easier. I will just tell you, please, half the price. I will sell the whole factory. Is that sustainable? But sometimes you need to drive the two together. So you need to understand what drives sales increase and what drives profitability. It becomes a chaos. Because at that point in time, you are looking at the dependencies of sales, increasing sales, dependencies of increasing profitability. How do you balance all these data when you have them? Look at it. I need to increase sales. Two things that will come to mind for me will be, I expand. I only sell in one market today. Can I expand the market? And when I say expand the market, am I doing horizontal or I'm doing vertical expansion? Then somebody will say, we need to increase our share of, come on, share of market or share of market share, All these things are also attribute variables. That's big. You need to break it down, Then let's see, drive profitability. When I need to drive profit, Two things that comes to mind is increase my margin. What is margin? That is what comes to you when you remove your costs after you sell off an item that you produce or a service. Take off all the variable costs. What do you hold as a cash? That's your margin. A lot of us don't even know what we get because we run by bandwagon effect. You know, when I ask you, can you tell me cost to serve a customer? I'm sure many people don't know. You're selling the same item because one is your cousin that is speaking. Okay, just speak it to $2. There's somebody who is not your cousin will buy it $5. You don't even know the difference in the two actions. Then 6 months down the road, say, I don't know what's wrong with this business. Are my village people following me? Your village people are your village. You are the one, not just looking at what you're doing. So to improve profitability, increase margin or reduce costs. Reduce costs is not possible when you are in this kind of volatile economy in Africa. You can't almost all the time reduce costs, except you want to two things that you maybe you want to reduce costs. Yes, you want to reduce your quality. And when you reduce quality, be ready, you know, to dilute your brand, because quality is also one of those things people use to respect your brand. When you drop that quality, your brand becomes a wishy-washy brand. You know, people don't give you, oh, don't buy that stuff. It's not good again. Oh no, that's a bad tea. Don't buy. Go and buy PG tips, or you buy me Yorkshire tea. You know, people will give you all those excuses, and you say, why? I say, you know, with a PG tips you can make 2 cups of tea, but that one you can hardly even have a cup of tea. Somebody is doing mass market, right? We all have our reasons, you know, so, you know, for some of these decisions to buy some things, and some of these things around profitably drive the value that you capture in the market. You know, in another word, maybe I'll be here to talk about value capture sometime soon. So, and this is how every point on this chart, you need data to take those decisions, unless you want to take it with intuition, say, oh, okay, we need to reduce costs. Please, instead of adding 10 sugar, add 1. Then your customer will pick your cake and say, no, this is not the cake I used to buy here. Once one person tells another person, word of mouth, the rapid effect, you're gone. Then you dump that stock into the bin. You still want to force yourself to come out the next day. You still come out, then say, oh, no, it's not the same. Before you realize it's because you said they should reduce the number of sugar because you are reducing cost. Because you took that decision without checking the data you have. And you are going to be expanding markets when you know you are going to be increasing your costs, because the journey, you know, cost of going to further market is going to be increasing your costs. So you are already lost in improving profitability when you're expanding. So you need to balance the, you know, and you need data to take some of these decisions. Some of you don't think you need, but I think you need. When you start talking to some of us on the coaching side, these are some of the information we want from you. We want you to process it, because all about your business is there's a life cycle. You know, there's an ideation stage, and there's a launch stage. Then we want you to start scaling when you launch, a step at a time, you know. Then you're scaling. I want you to scale and sustain the growth, not scale and nosedive. Then we are starting all over again. Sustain the growth. We need the data to put you on that trajectory. That's why it's important for you. Every customer you sell to, what is the cost of that thing you're selling to them? Every product you are producing, what is the cost input? Keep an account, keep everything. Call an accountant, employ a manager to keep books for you if you can't keep it. Because some of us we are blessed with the skills, but we cannot do, you know, the data. So you need to employ someone who understands to do it for you. if you really want to do business the way business should be done. That's the reality. Then, you know, a lot of us, you know, when I ask you, yeah, do you have business plan? And in those business plan, you know, you have some numbers. Are you checking back, you know, on your performance on those numbers? Maybe some of you just drop those numbers, you know, just to tick the box. I'm gonna make $1 million in 1 year. So how much have you made in 1 year? It's already like 35-40% of the year. So what percentage of that? So you have not made over 40% when the time has gone over 40%, then you are crawling. That's how you measure or track. So understanding the critical growth lever is critical. You know, that's all I've been saying. What is the right time to improve on some of these legs I've shown you? Expand markets. You know, if you don't have data, you cannot understand what you want to do. You can't. Seriously. Just for education's sake, I put these slides. It's not part of what I want to do. For education's sake, these are just the matrix. It helps you to understand the matrix when you measure. So you understand the data you want to collect. For education's sake, I need to increase the market. What do I need to do? Expand my market, increase shares. What are the other things you need to do? Acquire new customers, develop new products, increase frequency of usage. You know, someone tells me, why do we buy paracetamol and they say use 2 drugs in the morning, in the afternoon? These guys want to sell more, for God's sake. Then some other people will now say, no, use 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evenings. That's 6 per day. When you buy a jar of 100, divide by 6, that's almost like 15 days. You are going back to buy another one. Then you are going to compete against that company and you are saying on your own dosage, 1 per day. They will keep your jar for 3 months. They won't come back and buy. Reality. So you need to understand how some of these actions, you know, how it plays. And your action too, you know, determines how you can measure some of these things. So, because when you're trying to improve, it has impact on your processes. It has impact on you as a business owner and your people working for you. Sometimes the data can point to your own action. Now look at this. Increased sales is more of marketing and sales action, you know. And these other parts, finance is there, sales is there, supply chain, your production, you know, they will help you to do other cost reduction, profitability increase. Most times, that is it. But if you don't even understand how finance, marketing sits in your business, then that's a problem from today. When you start from the cradle, it's so easy when you're a toddler for us to say, oh, he's doing well. Then you move to a teenager, then you move to that full-blown adult because you have started from the cradle. You have mastered the game. Then for you to fall is not going to be easy. And that's the essence of saying, oh, keep abreast of your data. Know what to measure. It's all about tracking performance, improving performance. So I put this case. Let's just read. Adrian is a guy who lives in a big city and is a fashion business owner. Now, just one day, he realizes 60% of his customers are men and they live within the government reservation area of that city. You know, as part of his business, he's setting a business plan for the new year with his team. And they just decided, oh, guys, going forward, we are going to be sewing casual, smart native wear with no cufflinks. That's the decision. And that's the same way a lot of us take decisions about our businesses. You know, without even checking some things. If I open up the phones now and say, discuss this, a lot of us won't be able to discuss, but I put the answer there. Do you think Adrian's decision is right? We don't know. You know why we don't know? the information has not informed us that, oh, he actually checked certain things to take that decision. But my question to you is, if you are Adrian, what other thing would you have done, to take a better decision? Let's even assume he has taken wrong decision. How would you have taken this decision of the focus for you in the new year? Once you know, oh, I have 60% of men within this area patronizing me. So what are we saying? The kind of data that will help you take decisions matters. And some of these data you need to collect by yourself. All things I've been telling you, the data with you. You are collecting data, people send you DM on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. The person has a name. The person has a contact. And you're picking the choices of that person. All those are transactional information. Transactional data, and also it encompasses customer information. Wale, my number is +234 --. I love yellow t-shirts. That's because that's what I bought from you, and I bought some quantities of. I don't like it with conspicuous pictures. I love it plain. That's my preference. You have that information. Do you keep them? How do you keep them? I'm not reaching out to you on your Facebook or your social media. I'm actually coming to your WhatsApp and chatting you up because I've seen what you posted on your statuses. So, oh, I like that. Can I pick that? And I've done that like 3 times. That's an information about me. Then today, social media makes it easy, for you to get competitive insights. Who does the kind of thing that you do? Just go to their Instagram page, all these social media. You can actually draw a picture, of their play, the way they play and approach their business. If you can't do it, you can actually employ some people to do it for you. So if that is how they play, oh, she sells food and deliver to homes. But the way the pictures are depicted on the social media are not fantastic. So you have an edge. So your pictures are very attractive, but you don't have customers. So you need to go further and probe this person. Can you do a mystery shopping with that person so that you know what makes her thicker than you? You're collecting data. Go and patronize your competitor to feel the customer experience so that you can copy well. Internal, external. External sometimes can also be something that you're going to procure. You're going to actually procure from a research agency, or you're paying some other people to do some market intelligence for you. You're going to go and sit down at ShopRite. You go to that counter where they have cereals. You observe when people come to shop on that counter, how many of my brand are they picking in comparison to other brands. Start picking the tally for me. Then you're looking at the shelf. Oh, when I look at the display on the shelf, I'm just 20% of the display. So what is the buying pattern? Does that translate? Does that mean people don't pick me much? But at the end of the day, you find out that at the end of the day, 100% of your share of shelf is out. There's an information there. You actually need to increase your share of shelf because you could have sold more. At a particular point in time, there is a sellout. You need to collect this data for you to know. And what does that do to you? It helps that your expansion. Oh, increase sales. You already, well, I think we need to increase our shelf space because that's the problem. By the midday, we always are in sellouts. So if someone comes in by midday, they're not going to see your brand on the shelf, and that's best alternative. That's it. They pick the next guy they see. I always tell people I love Radisson brand of hotel. So when I go to any place I don't see Radisson, I sleep in the next good hotel I see. I can't go and sleep Radisson in 200 kilometer away and I'm doing something here. I just need to patronize anyone, but when I see Radinson, that's my first choice. The same way with every consumer when they get, into that retail space. If you are not available, you are not top of mind again. They're not gonna wait for you. And if you don't have information about that marketplace or the retail space on your shelf, you cannot take decisions to improve. You are small and you think you don't need the information. You actually need that information. Like I said, from the cradle to the toddler, to the teenager, and you become that full-blown adult, you need to have that kind of transition in your life cycle with your business. Forget that last part. It's some of these buzzwords. Just say processing your data can make sense of the internal and external. You can actually look at the data because you have all the external data, the internal data, put them together. You can start predicting. I think during rainy season, they buy more tea. And people love tea that's spicy because during that time it's always very cold. When it is spicy, there's this scintillating sensations it gives, the consumers. You're predicting. So I think I need to improve my production during rainy season. You're understanding the seasonality now. And because you understand the seasonality, you're taking that as a decision point in your production. That's how data works. But if you don't have an overview, you can't generate that insight around seasonality. And how can you take that action, to leverage on that seasonality, for your own positivity, growth? You can't. And that's the reality of the small business, landscape. A lot of us just follow the bandwagon. We don't take time, to understand the marketplace. We don't take time to even understand our own business and our consumers so that we can, at least tweak something in our play and get it right from the word go. Everybody is revamping a week. Have we patronized each other? Have you patronized one or two to really understand how they do what they do so that you know that you have a strength? Then because you understand there's something unique about you, that can be that cashew word for your marketing campaign. That's it. That mystery shopping you're supposed to do is going to unlock a lot of things for you. Doing mystery shopping, what are you doing? Collecting a competitor information, understanding consumer preferences. That's what you're doing. You're collecting data. So you need to take time, to do some of these things. Collect the information as much as you can. Yes, maybe you may not organize them very well, but do you have your notes when you're going out, to pick some of those things? Now this mobile, you can take pictures on the shelf, when you get back home, you come and process all those things you have on the phone. Nobody says you're in the store, you shouldn't take pictures. In fact, some of us go and take pictures using the background of the shopping mall. That's another insight for you. Yeah, just to show you, what the value of data is, in my own word, this is how we say, telling me all those 10%, 20% I saw, yeah, that's post-mortem. It has happened, right? That's a post-mortem information you're giving me. What has happened? That's what you're giving me. But when you're engaging me, I want you to be doing what? Tell me what your sector, your market will be like in 5 years ahead of time. You can only do this when you understand what you're doing now and you do what? You analyze it and process it further. I like it when you're with me and you're telling me, do you know by year 2025, this market will have grown to $300 million, and currently I'm doing $1 million of that. I want to move to $22 million. Then my head will spin. I say, oh, fantastic. How do I get part of this money? Then I'm willing to do business with you. That's the value data brings. That's the value data brings. All my years, this is where I've worked. We look at the data from the business, from the customers, how they're buying what they're buying. So how do we get more money from them? Each of those times you get all those SMSs from your mobile operator. This is what they are doing. They are using the data they have at the back end. The same way you can use the data. A lot of you don't even know the birthday of your customers. Do you know how much insights, just keeping the birthday record of your customers can do for you? I used to have this supplier, one time, that particular year, I procured cake from my daughters, from her. She kept the dates. The following year, like 3 weeks before my daughter's birthday, I was just getting SMS. Hello, sir. It's 3 weeks before Joala's birthday. Please advise us on the design of our next cake. As if it's going to be free. It's not free. She's processing the data she had. She is reminding me herself. She did. She reminded me. I've not stopped buying cake from her. In fact, she reminds me every other year. Some of you have been selling gifts to people. It's not too bad. Hey, who are you buying for? What occasion is it, sir? Then you keep the record. Then next day, okay, it's gonna be Wale's wedding anniversary, just to remind you if you're picking another gift. Let me now tell you why I love Radisson. When you start patronizing some of those brands, they give you form to fill on their counter. Oh, date of birth is there. I put my date of birth. Unknowingly, I never knew. So one of those days, I was actually on holiday in a different country, in a different brand of the big brand. And it's my birthday. In fact, if someone had told me I was going to be celebrated by unknown people at breakfast, I would have said, over my dead body, who knows my birthday here? Then I came down for breakfast. I don't know how they picked it was me. And somebody brought a cake to the table. Everybody in the restaurant were clapping, happy. I was shocked. Since that day, they got me. You guys have particular customers who give you most of the revenue you get. How do you celebrate that customer? What value does that customer hold to you? So much. If you start keeping data of your customers, data about your business, is so much decisions you can take. I'm bringing all these real life examples so that you understand, or you can get the real insight about the value in data, and why it's so important for small businesses like you. I don't want you to go into prescriptive or cognitive. Just stay at little prediction about, oh, I sold 200 bags of rice this year. Next year, they're going to increase staff salaries. So what does that do? That gives more of wallet size to each consumer. Then I know now luxury is not a thing for people again, because you are getting from the newspaper, people cannot buy new cars. So that means, their dependencies on luxuries will reduce. People can know, and I see a lot of health workers are preaching, healthy living, nutrition for children. So that means you can sell more, pick the information, bits and bits, put it together. If you don't understand, get a coach, call your finance manager or accountant, let them explain some of these concepts to you. That's what I'm saying. It's for the good of the business. A lot of big businesses, let me shock you, they actually did not picture COVID was going to impact on supply chain. I was surprised. All of us with our education, we didn't take it until we started hearing, oh, China is on lockdown. That was when the shock hit the whole world. Now bread prices are increasing all over the world. Why? Ukraine supplies larger quantity of the wheat. in the world, Ukraine, most of them cannot go to farm again. So Ukraine, supply is off the market. The remaining supply is not adequate to cater for the demand. So it's more of who is willing to pay. So if you need to buy wheat, you need to pay more. Imagine businesses who at the close of last year were not even putting Ukraine as a factor that will affect their supply. And that's why you need to very renaissance, you need to open your head. Little thing far away will affect you. Little thing, very little thing. My cohort that was coaching, someone was sharing her experience about COVID. And that was a time she rediscovered herself. She found out that, the model of a business before she revamped, and she started doing personalizing some of that business. In fact, the business name she coined for herself was a wrong business name. It was then she knew. She called her business, for instance, XYZ Delivery, and she was not doing logistics. During COVID, people were calling her, and we want you to help us deliver, that's data. She picked that data and she came back to revamp her business name. The same way, a lot of us let some of these small, I call them little big things, little big data you could have picked to help you a big deal. You're not picking them up. With the way the world is today, let me shock you. If you want to do business and you're not ready to invest in collecting data or processing data, you're not going to make better and quicker decisions for your business. There is no amount of time and investment you put on, creating that little thing now that is not helpful. And you know what? A lot of you do social media, and I don't know if you understand that, back end of some of these things, you have analytics that you can actually pull. Instagram will give you the analytics, Facebook will give you the analytics, Twitter will give you the analytics. You can see the demography of the people buying from you. Maybe you are locating the business in the wrong place, farther away from the customers who are buying from you. If you look at the data, it will show you. But how many times have we checked the data from Instagram, the backend, the analytics? Because that's where most of us play today. How many times have you taken your time, to process the demography? Oh, when they're buying from, where are you calling me from, sir? Oh, okay. From Johannesburg, okay. Where are you calling me from, sir? Oh, from Limpopo. Then you start putting those things, okay. You start getting on the map of South Africa. Oh, then you are talking to me, say, 95% of our customers actually reside in Johannesburg. And that's why I would think we can still explore opportunity in Limpopo, because you're already looking like saturated in Johannesburg. So go to Limpopo and expand the market. But if you don't process the little one you have, how can you take this decision? You'll be oversaturating the market, then you now start dropping prices when you're not supposed to drop price. That's why some of these things are dependent. When the supply is too much than the demand, everybody start doing what? Arbitraging. We start killing ourselves. It becomes kill or get killed. Everybody start dropping prices. I need to push this volume because I don't want to pay waste management to come and pick all the production in my warehouse. It becomes a waste. You lose money. So you just want to get something. Please, just sell. Especially some of us in agri. People are planting what they don't even know people will buy when they harvest. I don't know. Let me share a story. One time I love doing all sort of business experience. So I call myself serial entrepreneur. So I was investing in a farming business. So we're cultivating watermelon. You know how bulky watermelon is? We had these 2 hectares of land, and I was, I didn't do my research very well, I was telling my wife, I said, oh, wow, we're going to harvest next week. We actually harvested, plenty watermelon, guys. I forgot that watermelon occupies space. So my calculation was like, oh, a whole trailer load of watermelon should give me 1 million naira, and I have 5 trailer. Right? I forgot that it occupies space. And we know how they price watermelon in Nigeria. You'll be shocked that a truckload of watermelon may just be 100,000 naira. Yeah, that was the shock of my life then. In fact, we were buying the people that will buy it from us because they will get spoiled in days. We didn't do the research well. Somebody just, oh, yeah, bros, we can do watermelon. I said, oh, we have the land, so okay, how much? And the cost was so small that I thought, so we'll put this small money, we'll get this big. Oh, I didn't do the calculation well. I didn't check the market. What's the supply for watermelon? What's the demand for watermelon? No, that was my own hard way to learn when you don't have the right data and you take decision. The same way a lot of us are run business because we've never checked if the demand is so good, if there are opportunities now. It's not too late. You go and check again and revalidate. That your intuition. Collect the right data and let's move ahead. So what is the benefit of having the right data? You know, everything data can do to your business as a small business. I try to do it. I will speak to one and give an example of everything. Do the right thing by the customer. You know, I always say, if you are not customer obsessed, you know, from day one, you are not yet in business. What do you mean by customer obsessed? I think a lot of us need to start taking some steps back and say, okay, before I do what I do, what do the people want? Check from there. So you collect that information about, oh, if you want to buy bread, what kind of bread do you want to buy? Oh, white bread, not too brown. I love my bread to have sugar, not crusted. So you are collecting the base information. Okay. So when you want to start your bakery, you can start making the right bread from day one. So if I walk into your store and I taste your bread, you have won me over. So finding and retaining me is not a problem there. Because of that customer obsession you put forward at first, you are collecting that need parameters first for you to start creating the first product. And what have you done? You are quenching my satisfaction from day one. You are satisfying it. So the next layer when I start buying from you is to say, oh, Mr. Wale, yes, I said, yeah. Okay, would you want flavored bread? You know, we're trying to improvise, you know, new things, new tastes, you know. I want to start doing banana flavor, pineapple flavored, you know, just same white bread, but we're gonna have. Then I say, oh, I love banana. And I give some instances. Then somebody else says, then you now say, okay, we're gonna have the 2 flavors in the shop next time you come in. You have already targeted me with a new offering there. What are you trying to do? There is an opportunity there, right there, you know, to do what? To get more from me. As I'm buying the white bread, I'm buying the banana flavored. And you were able to do what to me? Cross-sell banana. You've done it successfully. And because you have given me everything I needed, I'm a loyal customer. There's no need for me to go to Mr. Palm's shop to look for banana bread again. That's the competitive advantage you have given yourself. You'll be shocked because it's banana flavored. He has reduced the sugar in it. That's a cost saving. So he's driven profitability. There's no need of me leaving buying from him. So I'm not going to go anywhere. Churn is not a problem. And what is this doing overall? If I have invested in that business, more money comes to everybody. You're increasing the equity of your business. When you have the right data, you see how I put examples on everything. That's what you're doing. And that's why it's critical as a small business, because you don't have that economies of scale that most big businesses have. They have money. They can buy all the media and make all the noises. You know, in Nigeria, everybody fear MTN. The day MTN starts a campaign, I don't think any other brand can get space in the media to do the same campaign. In the newspaper, on the radio, on the TV, social media, oh my God. That's economies of scale. They have the money. They have the customers. And some of us will be retweeting whatever MTN tweets, you know. They have the share of largest share of noise. You cannot do it. You only have those people on your WhatsApp phone book, you know, to do that status for. Anything you put on your WhatsApp status, I can't see because I'm not in your cycle of influence. The only time, probably on Instagram, maybe you're tagging maps me. I can see your sponsored advert because you tag it right. A man who loves fun, who loves ginger. Then the tagging, you know, and then is of my age. And I'm in the location where you selected. Then I can see the sponsored ad. I say, oh, what? Can I try this? Then you won me over when you can put your price when I see your display, because some of you do blind pricing. I don't know why we do that. Makes me take that decision at that particular point in time if I'm buying from you or I'm not buying from you. I don't know why we don't put our prices. So these are the benefits of having the right data. Would you want to have the right data? I think so, because you need to have the right data if you need to win the court, because you need to be customer obsessed. You need to take most advantage of the share of wallet of your customer. That's why you're in business, to make money. And it's this customer that will give you money. Basic data. What their preferences, what are the attributes of the product they want, what's the kind of packaging they want to take. So the value of data in any business is critical to measure performance and also to make informed decisions to drive growth. I think I've been able to simplify, you know, those big words of value and data with a little time, you know. So, and I don't know if there will be questions, Shay.
Yes, definitely.
Or do I need to go and check the charts for the questions?
There are no questions in the chat yet. So ladies, if you have questions, as usual, you can raise up. So this time around, we allow them to speak so that it's more engaging. So if you have any questions, please, can you just raise up your hand? We have 15 more minutes. We will take as many questions as we can during the time that we have left. So if you have any questions, this is an opportunity to get free consultation. Because if you're going to get Wale to consult for you, you'll be paying lots of millions, right? So,
This time I'm so free. Yeah, they can pay me in dollars. Yeah.
So take opportunity of this free consultation that you get from someone who's obviously one of the best at what he does. All right, so I will take Tolu Alade. If you also want to speak and raise up your hand, I'm just going to take the first 3 people, right? So Tolu, I'm giving you access to speak now.
Good evening, Ma. Good evening, sir. I enjoyed every bit of your presentation, sir. Very enlightening and very eye-opening. So my question is this: apart from, we have all social media as data analytics tools. Are there specifically other analytical tools that one can use to measure how one is faring in business in terms of performance, in terms of profitability, and the likes? Please, I'd like to know.
Okay, can I answer that, Shay?
Yes, please. You can go ahead, please.
Okay. Hi, Tolu. Thanks for listening on. So I think the first thing you need to understand is you need to understand the objective of what you want to measure first, because you can't measure if you can't improve if you cannot measure, and you cannot measure if there are no data for you to see. So social media gives you marketing information. It won't give you financial information. It will give you a lot about the customer information. So you need to take an action about how do you want to get your customer information. You are intercepting customers on social media, right? So
Yeah.
what action do you take when you have intercepted those customers on social media? Just on this call now, you can see we were trying to take attendance, right? A Google form was shared.
Yes.
So when you intercept customers on social media, you try to get more information so that you can know them. Oh, let's assume you run a dry cleaning business now. So can you check how much would they be willing to part with in a month, for a dry cleaning service? Then when you know the size, then you can wrap your value proposition around those willingness, their willingness to pay. So if someone says it's $5, he's ready to part with for dry cleaning. Then how many clothes will you want to dry clean for $5? That's the value propositioning that you're coming up with. Do you want to check like how many clothes do they want to dry clean to in a month? Because some people may wear 2 jeans all through the month. It's just the shirts they want to dry clean. So getting those information from them will help you to wrap the right value proposition. Then what are they saying? The share of noise. Again, you need to look on social media. What are they saying about my brand? Someone says, oh, the last time I dry clean with them, my button was torn, oh, my pocket was torn off, and I didn't get any sorry from them, Some of these information you need to overlay on each other for you to now take the decisions on improvement. Oh, I think I need to change the guys in the laundry. They are destroying a lot of customers and they are not keeping that in the logbook for us to get back to the customers. Maybe you don't even have some of these processes I've explained. Then you need to start, what's the right process? You need a coach to guide you. You need a business mentor to guide you. You need a business clinic who can consult for you, So first thing, what is it that you want to improve? You want to measure. You need to decide. Financial, then you need an accountant to look into your books and advise you. I hope I've answered that, to the best of my
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wally. Another question, is to what extent, following up on Tolu's question, is to what extent would social media analytics, right, impact on your business? There's, I've forgotten the term for it, but the term for it, right, to what extent? Because, there's social media on one hand, and there's your actual customers on another hand, and they are your repeat customers who make your businesses grow. So to what extent should you lay emphasis, or should you focus on social media analytics?
Okay. So thanks, Jerry, for expatiating more on that, so that for learning sake. The social media analytics, it's just giving you, the interactions your brand you have, within that social media space, and within that your cycle of influence on the social media. So the impressions you have made, with a post, and the pressure is a total sum of who and who are liking, who and who are sharing this post. That impression is just not, it's not a sales. The true thing, it's about how much of sales are coming because you have made that post. And that's why when you are checking the analytics, conversion is very critical. You have posted something that made huge impression, but the conversion you are getting, it's not tangible, right? So check the comment box. What are people saying? Sometimes that post may not be converting online, but it's actually driving foot traffic to your store. And that's why I don't like using data from a single point. I love to, to put together from various sources and overlay them together, to drive, okay, what's the foot traffic in the store? because we posted this lovely new meal that we've just designed in the restaurant. We're seeing that huge traffic to the restaurant because that's what all of them are coming for. So you need to check. So if you're seeing that incremental food traffic, that tells you that campaign, because people are not clicking through to buy through, so it won't record in the analytics as a conversion, but they're actually coming to the real store to come and buy. So I don't like using those analytics in isolation. I like to overlay them on my financials when I see, oh, money is going, so I know, okay, it's working. Food traffic is store if I have a physical store. But if you don't have a physical store, maybe, yes, stay on that. Check the comment. What are they saying about your brand? Some of the people who have used it will actually make certain comments. Are you acknowledging some of those comments? And again, we need to take ownership. So some people have seen on social media of recent, when people make negative comments, it becomes a battle. As a small business owner, take ownership, empathize with the customer, make a promise that they are meant to be made, and you come back to give them the feedback. Oh, based on this complaint, we promised 2 weeks, we have gone back, we've checked the errors, we promise this is not going to happen ever again. Be rest assured, somebody is going to come home. They have actually corrected this. Somebody is going to further push the campaign for you. That's it. That's the viral effect of social media. But when they post certain comment because it's negative, you're trying to run away, you're not taking ownership, the erosion or the degradation they're going to do on your page, you can't mop it up. That's where you start losing the equity. Some of the guys who are loyal customers start getting paid. Oh, really? This happens there. I'm not going to go there again. Even on your page, people will be dropping next best alternative there for people to say, oh, go to shawarma.com. No, I don't do. No, it's shawarma.com. I do now. It's balala. So that's it. They're already giving your loyal customers alternatives. So you need to take ownership and very responsive, for you to really leverage what you're seeing on the analytics. You need to be very responsive and very engaging,
Okay, thank you so much, Wale. Thank you so much. It's been another enlightening session, right? As always with you. As you were speaking, what hits me most was, the part where you talked about, oh, is your target, to make $1 million for the year? And I'm like, I remember having such a target, and I don't know if I'm anywhere close. So that hit me. I was like, oh, he's Wale speaking to me.
Yeah, so please drag me along.
I said, it's Wale speaking to me. But yes, it's been quite. We have one more hand up. Okay, let's see if we can squeeze that in. Okay, we'll quickly squeeze that in. Olamide, I'm allowing you to speak now.
Okay, good evening, ma. Good evening, sir. I'm Olamide from Nigeria, and I would like to ask concerning the increasing of margins. Like our speaker said, he said it is very, very bad to reduce the quality of your product because it's going to affect your brand. So I would like to ask that, is it okay to reduce the quantity of one product for a particular price? Maybe have a specific price before, because of cost of things, and in order to increase your margin, thereby reduce the quantity. Then my other last question is there a model to gather data for customers, especially if your customers are majorly on WhatsApp? Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, Olamide. I love the two questions. Yeah. Your first question is actually it's something I'm passionate about. I know my first masterclass with Power One was more about that doing business profitably. Value capturing. Because you need to create the right value to capture the right value. So let me answer your second question before I come back to that. You're on WhatsApp. there's a phone book, you're on your phone. You know who is interacting with you on WhatsApp. So you can take that data out, maybe on your create a spreadsheet on your system and start putting the information, on the frequency of purchase or whatever. There's a contact phone number, there's a preference for that customer. So if you start putting that out because some of those WhatsApp information, you can lose them. You have them on the spreadsheet. You start processing over time, to take advantage of the opportunities of information you have, So that I would say, let me just stop that. I don't want to overstretch that. On the other part, it's about value capture you're talking about. So, and let me tell you, the big mistake we always make here. People want to manage costs. They play with quality without knowing quality is that strong attribute for their brand. So first thing first, what is that attribute that drives consumption for you? What is that thing that makes the customer come to repurchase from you over time? You need to know. If you are not asking them, you need to ask now, because knowing makes you, sustain that thing, and you have those customers forever in your lifetime. So, but if you don't know, you just play with intuition and you say, oh, okay, reduce the sugar. Oh, reduce the SKU. That's the size, quantity, like you said. Now, some people actually prefer your brand because you have a bigger packaging than your competitor. So they are more about the volume, not even the value now. So, two instances. If they are more about the volume and not the value, can I retain the volume and say, oh, I'm increasing my price? You may not have backlash because they already know. Oh, can you increase your price and put a value-added service on top of it? Say I send you food pack, I deliver to homes. Can I do something on health diets, something on dieting, make a pamphlet and put it on top of food, I say, and I create like say meal plan, that's a value-added information that they may never be aware of. But what have you done? You have added to their knowledge about dieting. That in itself is a lot of value you're adding to that customer at that particular point in time. And do you know what? That information, for you to create it may come at no cost to you. You have a printer at home, you have all those A4 sheets there, and you just design it and you printed it out. You even put a meal plan that may even trigger incremental frequency of order from you. So and that's why I said you need to understand who your customer is. A lot of us are just selling because we just want to make money. We don't think we need to be customer obsessed. I'm using that word many times today. You need to be customer obsessed. Love the customer. Take a step back and sit as if you are the customer. How would you want to see that product you're selling? Not just because you want to exploit, because that's the word. I think that's the word I've been looking for. We love to exploit. We are not, and when you exploit customers, you're not rightly capturing value. Like I say, value capture or value creation is a two-way street. I need to see the value for me to pay the price to you. So, I love eating 500 mg. Oh, it's 500 mg, and I love it non-crusted. Oh, it's non-crusted. Yeah, so I'll pay whatever price you put on it, because those are the two attributes that I found out that is more significant for me to buy. It's not the price, but most times you would think it's the price. So the next thing you do is drop the price. You're outing yourself, or you reduce the quality. Like most people would think that's the cheapest thing to do. No, but if you are customer obsessed, you already know what the customer wants. It's quality they want. So Olamide, I think I'll be able to provide some context. You can build up on that, later
Yeah.
on.
Thank you so much, Wale. And also to bring and to provide a bit of context, or to give a further example, you see the part I talked about adding value-added services, it's so important. And I'll give an example of one of our mentors, right? And masterclass facilitators on the AEP program, Sheon Shangulaye. She's the founder of Baby Groups. Now, so she sells indigenous baby food, right? Healthy, nutritious meals. And I think in recent times, I mean, I don't buy from her. I don't have any need to buy from her. But in recent times, I've noticed that she does bundling, right? So she may, instead of just selling one, she'll sell maybe a different, different, maybe like 16 boxes and give it to you at the price of maybe like 13 or 12. She has meal plans that she's added for babies. And imagine, specially created meal plans for babies.
Yeah.
She adds a lot of activities you can do with your babies. Then I think for me, the one that even blows my mind the most is the fact that she now even does videos where she shows how to use baby food as snacks. So how you can use it, how you can use the baby food to make healthy snacks. Yeah, I forgot cookies. Yeah, how to use baby food to make cookies, how to make snacks. Packed lunch ideas for baby. Guess what? I mean, even me that I don't have a baby, I'm like, wow, this is, and there's no way, you'll be getting such a value. I mean, she's not reduced her prices, she's not reduced her quantity, and she's not quality, but she's adding so much value that you have no option but to just buy it from her.
No, so you just reminded me of something I told my coaching cohort, I think most of us as small businesses, we don't have a lot of headache because we have sizable amount of customers we're serving. I think we can start doing what I call personalization of service or offers to customers rather than generalizing. That creates that, that relationship that you're looking for. And the trust can be built for you. The loyalty of your customer is going to improve upon, you are able to bond very well with them, when you personalize offers. Address me by Wale, not dear customer. I think you know me when you say dear Wale when I get your WhatsApp. Now when I say dear customer, like I'm just one of the many things. Yeah. But when you say dear Wale, I feel like, oh, really? This guy know me. Then and you start putting some personal things. Oh, we have observed that you like these, and so we think we want to add this on top of you're trying to introduce bonding, but you cautiously, personalize that offer for them, like she said. I love bonding. I've tried it very well. It works, it works very well. When you are looking to capture more value from customer, the guy that is giving you 1,000 will give you times 3 of that value when you do bundling right. And what do you bundle? Is that product you have in your business that is not fast moving. It's not fast moving because people have not known that thing. That's why you bundle with the fast moving one. And that product mostly not fast moving, is always having good margin. So when you bundle together, you have room to play on price perfection and get more money out there. There's a science to it, we can advise you how to do it when you have
Not a problem. We need to stop. I'm sorry I cannot take any more questions at this point because we'll just continue. I mean, and we like to keep to time on this masterclass sessions. Thank you so much, Wale. It's once more has been a privilege, a honor. See so many people in the chat saying, I mean, their businesses have changed. It's going to change. An informative session, right? So thank you so much. Ladies, like I always say, the only way you can say thank you to us at Paywen and to every masterclass facilitator is to implement everything that you have learned in your business. What gives us joy is to see your business succeed. and we look forward to you having more successes. We look forward to you also sharing those successes with us, because when you share those successes with us, you also share with other subsequent cohorts. Thank you so much, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye, bye, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
cheers,
you.
bye.
Yeah, cheers. Bye.